Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 5th episode of Never Offside with Julie and Kat. Today, we're going to be joined by a good friend of mine, Kev Connolly. He's, him from Entourage, like every movie ever, and he's the best. He's just a big hockey fan, so we'll get to him in a bit. But first, Jules, thank you so much for being up so late for me.
We have a late night episode because Kat just got back from the Super Bowl. Tell me all about it. I just need to hear from start to finish. You were there at parties, to the game.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl is always just one big party, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I got there Friday, and just parties and dinners, and there was
So are you going from like party to tell me you're going with a group of your friends and you guys have these parties set up, or it's just kind of like fly by the seat of your pants, we're going to go here for dinner and then see where the night takes you?
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of, which ones you're going to ahead of time. So the big one, the big Super Bowl party was on Saturday. It was the Fanatics one. And that one was just wild. That one, like Post Malone played and like Shaq was there. It's like, it's fun. Like,
tell me you got a side by side of you and Shaq together.
I'm dying that I did it. That's the one. So it's funny. I never ask for pictures with people that I don't know,
That one just should have broke the rule.
Yeah, that one would have broken
You
my
would have
rule.
come up to his kneecap.
Yeah, that would have been the craziest side by side ever. So yeah.
And I saw some pictures of Tyler with some fun people.
Yeah, so at the actual game, Tyler was able to. So the Sharks played Saturday night, right, at 7. Thank God, instead of a 7:30 game. So Tyler,
30 minutes.
Yeah, Tyler for the first time was able to join me at the Super Bowl because coincidentally the break started on Sunday, right?
Perfect timing.
Yeah, so I got him a red eye out of San Francisco, and he went up after the game, and he got there at like 8 in the morning, and it was so fun. Yeah, it was really fun. And then obviously, yes, at the game we were in a suite, and Chance the Rapper was there, and I just, I went up to him and I was just like, your SNL skit is a revelation with the NHL guys, like it's just so funny. Like,
well, I just laughed because your posts, you are very, you take your time to post to social media, but that was the quickest, wittiest, like post you've ever posted. And you tagged my line change by accident.
Don't know how that happened. I was very, I had some cocktails at the
fat
game.
Fingers.
Yeah, and I uploaded the photo of Tyler and Chance the Rapper, and for some reason didn't realize that until this morning that instead of Chance, I tagged Line Change Co.
Our social media girl probably got it and was like, "Is he wearing something?"
I like pulled up the photo today and I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, Ty, I don't know how I did that. And he was like, that's embarrassing.
Edit. No, it's hilarious. Well, it looked like a blast. The game was kind of crazy. Just like the Eagles showed up. I don't know if you had allegiance to any team. Were you just there for fun?
I was sitting in a suite. Sorry, Eric, I love you, but I was sitting in a suite of people rooting for the Eagles. So you kind of, you want to
fly, Eagles fly.
Yeah, you kind of want to not be in a depressed suite, So
yeah.
it was a fun game for us to just be amongst the Eagles fans, and it was really exciting for all of them. Obviously, people put lots of bets on those games, so that can really bring down the mood if you're around. But yeah, it was just a good time. I don't know. I love the Super Bowl, and obviously New Orleans was really cool for it. Just like it was just really well done.
It looked like a good time. It did. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was well done and so fun to watch it through your eyes every year. And I'm still gonna hold you to it. If the Lions make the Super Bowl next year, I better be your +1 because the guys won't have a break lined up against that one. Maybe they will.
True. Well, yeah, and it'll be here in San Francisco next year, so you can spend the night and we can maybe do a podcast together from home.
You hear that, guys? We're gonna be around next year.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so good times. I am a little deadsies right now because of it, but I appreciate you staying up for me because I had to get back here to do this with you.
Okay, and up next we have Kevin Connolly. I get to meet him and talk about all the things from being a young Islanders fan to producing the 30 for 30 Big Shot, about just the wildest things happening in that organization, and him being in a Super Bowl ad.
And we're back, and we are joined by a very good friend of mine and Tyler's, Mr. Kevin Connolly.
How are you guys? What's going on?
You?
I like the Instagram name intro, Kat.
I mean,
Drop the handle. Smart move.
At
Appreciate
Mr. Kevin Connolly. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Kev.
No, my pleasure. It's the day after the Super Bowl. Impressive. The whole world seems to be, or certainly LA, it's like a holiday. The whole place is shut down. It's very strange, yeah.
I was going to say, so everyone knows you as actor, producer, director, all of the things. You've been in a million things, but I know you as like an athlete in my mind.
Right.
Like you were just
athleticism. You've seen me with the drone, Kat. You know what I can do with the drone.
Oh, okay. So that's funny. I was asking Tyler if he had a question for you, and he didn't have a question for you, but he wanted you to tell the drone story.
We had that, yeah. We had that one moment where we locked eyes. I couldn't land my drone. I'm a pretty good drone pilot, but it was pretty late in the day. There was some things going on. We were,
Is this during an athletic event or just
no,
during?
it was like 4th of July or something, right?
So
yeah.
we were on a boat together on 4th of July in LA, and Kev was producing with a drone, I guess. And what happened, Kev?
Great shots. We were getting some great shots. Who's the guy? Shaun White was there, and he was doing like flips off the boat. No joke. It was crazy. I was like, I got to get this from the drone. Took the drone out, got the shot, and then when I tried to land it, I caught the corner of the boat, and it went in the drone went in the water, lost to the heavens. And I looked over, and Tyler was the only one. I was like, oh man, I didn't think anybody saw it, but there was one witness lurking in the shadows.
No content from the boat.
Not the good one, because a part of it goes right to your phone, but the high quality stuff goes.
It was just the most dramatic thing, and Ty loves the story so much because he just.
I can just see Tyler sitting back, like chuckling at the whole thing, like unfolding,
like with his beer.
Yeah,
his beer. No, it was. It's sad when you lose a drone. You're starting over, and then when all this craziness happened out here with these fires, people with drones, recreational drones, were getting in trouble. You had to be really careful. So I retired my drone for a while. But I lost one. I mean, yeah, I've lost a few. Not even being reckless. It just happens,
Well, speaking of
high traffic.
Drones, Kev, Long Islander.
Can we talk about the drones?
Yes.
What is going on?
I want your thoughts because you're the.
Kat is the ultimate conspirator. Okay? She believes. I mean, she might not say it. She might be a flat earther. Kat, are you
That
a flat
is not
earther?
true. You made this up at some point.
We've
swear
asked
you
for
made
a
this up.
tinfoil hat segment. We're just waiting on the NHL to give us the nod.
I am not. I am a rabbit hole person.
Right.
That's
that
what
might
I
have
am.
to be a separate podcast. I don't think that. Yeah, you do. You go down the rabbit hole. We'll
We'll
send
talk
each
off
other down
camera.
the
We'll
rabbit
talk
holes.
off camera for that separate podcast.
The
Right.
thing I love so much about you, Kev, is that you entertain my rabbit holes. You can talk about anything, and you
I'm
talk
down
about
those same
stuff.
rabbit holes.
Okay,
I'm down those same
so
rabbit holes.
if we're going here, can we just
Let's go.
hop into Super Bowl logo conspiracy? Like they say the colors are calling who's going to be in the Super Bowl. So like the last 5 years have been pretty on point, and next year it's blue and pinkish purple. So they're saying the Lions versus the Ravens, which I'm a Detroit
They say
fan.
they foreshadow the next Super Bowl.
Yeah, but with
That's
so
the thing.
yeah, the theory is that they look at the Super Bowl logo for each year, and the colors are predicting.
It's always
who's-
the two team colors.
I'm
Yes.
gonna have to give that one a deep dive.
You're gonna have to just
I'm
say
gonna
it
get
loud
into it.
enough in your phone, and it'll show you what
It
they're
will get
talking
here.
about. But
It will
anyways,
get here.
I just think that's funny because I'm trying to manifest the Lions being in the Super Bowl, and it's in San Francisco, Kat. So I'm hoping I get an invite if that happens.
You know what I heard, and granted, probably was on TikTok or somewhere, so it's got to be true. But I heard, the coin toss is 50-50 theoretically, right?
Are there magnets?
No. A coin toss favors tails.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that like the
Whatever,
weight
however,
of the
quarter,
coin?
Something. It's like a slight a slight difference in the coin toss. So it's not.
And
a
it
50-50.
was tails yesterday.
And it was tails yesterday.
Interesting.
But who knows?
Anyways.
That's just what I heard. But I do love a good conspiracy theory. Yeah, we couldn't even talk about some of the great
Yeah, I know.
conspiracies
They'll Bob will cut us right
Right.
off if we keep going.
Let's go to commercial.
Yeah,
All right, we're hockey. Sorry, we're talking hockey.
No, we're all sports.
We're talking
I
all
mean,
things.
you are.
I will say, hi, nice to meet you,
Nice to
Kevin.
meet you.
I apologize in advance if you hear little feet and screaming. I have 1 out of 3 kids in bed right now. This is not the typical recording time.
1 down, 2 to go.
1 down, 3 to go.
3 to go.
Yes. Sorry, all of you catering to my Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're just,
timing.
It might as well be midnight for me.
Yeah. Honestly.
I knew it was a little later than
Sorry.
like 5:15. My God, which is crazy because that's not that late.
Yeah, well, I'm at 8:15, 8:30 here, and if it wasn't
sleeping.
for you and trying to make a decent impression, I would be full like facial, like glowing skin, pajamas, ready to hit the sack after this. But here I am.
But you still have to get ready for bed. You still got to get ready for bed.
Yeah, I'm still full faced here. Anyways, full disclosure, just binge watched with my oldest son the 30 for 30 Big Shot that you
Okay.
produced.
Yeah.
Holy freaking crap.
Julie's
That
revved
guy, I was so revved up, like I was almost like I can't get on because I'm going to give all my like honest feedback like too soon. That man, did you like want to punch him in the face when you interviewed?
No, it was he of course didn't make anything easy for me. He made me earn him, sitting down in that chair, and it's funny because I was not bluffing him, but I was like, dude, I'm gonna make this movie with you or without you, which was kind of not a lie, but a fib.
Yeah.
I was not as far. I needed him.
Right.
So I had to, but it took. He really made me earn it. I had to go to his hometown and like spend the weekend with his like friends and family. It was a whole thing. So
It was wild.
we
Like
finally got
as
him
a
down. It was
lifelong,
great,
like
yeah.
so you were a lifelong Islanders fan, born, raised, and like as a child, I imagined you idolized these guys. And then to learn and then be the one that produces this story of this scumbag that literally just totally wrecked them and then just left them in this abysmal state. Like it was crazy. I just imagined like if I was you interviewing him.
Abysmal state.
No, like at the time, right?
yeah,
like it
yeah.
just was like they were already struggling and then left them, out to dry. Like these poor guys. I'm thinking like I have so many follow-up questions for all my Long Island people here, producers. Like what was the state of the team at this time? This whole story overshadowed it.
It's funny too because I interviewed Gary Bettman, right? Mr. Bettman. I call him and the funny
We
thing
call
too
him
is, like,
Garzy now.
Yeah, Garrity.
Right. I'm like, he's not. I was like, hey, do you mind if I interview this thing? He's like, sure, come on in. There was no questions list. Bettman was like, it is my position that he didn't own the team, and that's it. And I was like, he wasn't afraid of anything. I'm like,
Oh, you
he
could
was-
see
it
the
was-
fire in Gary's answer when you were like,
right.
he was like,
He was
we
like,
were
"Come up
never
to my
going to allow
office.
him to owe that team. Like,
We'll
I was
shoot
like, oh,
this. We'll shoot it in my office. Come on up. Let's
Yeah.
go. And he sat there with no prepared anything, and he was just like, I was like,
I
wow,
know.
I think I got beat up.
now
on-
that we
beat
have
up in
that story
interview.
of Gary, I want to go back and ask him all the questions. Like, that was in his fighting days. Like, Gary, I bet you had some words to say to this man who.
Right, because theoretically, ultimately, Gary and those guys, Mr. Bettman, they would have been able to make a case for that, and it probably would have led to that. But there was a window of time. I mean, he fired the coach. He's flying around in
whole
the team
thing
plane.
was Banana Land. Anyways, that.
Well, you know what? The one ironic thing, Alan Hahn, who was a local reporter who we interview, he's like a Knicks guy. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but you know who I'm talking about, Kat? Alan Hahn. And he said something which is true, and I don't know, not a ton of people picked up on it, but in that small window that he owned the team, he extended the cable deal something like 30 years, and
Yeah.
it kept the team on Long Island. Like that weird deal, like kept the team. No,
Yeah.
it did. That cable deal kept them on the island. So in a weird way, I mean, obviously you can't excuse it. Listen, he went to jail when the movie came out. His boss came to him and saw the movie and started looking back at the books, and he went back to jail. In fact, he got out like recently, like a couple
That's
weeks ago.
crazy.
Well, you have a new loyal 30 for 30 fan.
That was a
Julie.
lot of fun to make. That was
Honestly, and the history that y'all shared though at the beginning of it, like, so obviously Kat and I met when Tyler and my husband played for the Habs, and that, you know, all we know there is the storied franchise, 25 Stanley Cups, you know, like the whole thing. But y'all's little comparison in there of the Islanders 4 Stanley Cups in a row compared to Montreal's 5 in a row. But comparatively speaking, with how the playoffs, with how it was formatted, it would have been equal. The Islanders would have been equal to 9 Stanley Cups. Like,
listen, 19 straight playoff series. You could argue it would never be, you know, I mean, listen, it's hard to, they're still the last, especially after last night, the last of the 4 majors, the last 4 in a row. Last team to do 4 in a row.
It was fascinating, and I have a
it was fun.
newfound respect for the Islanders, and I loved the part about, which I think is ironic, about that the playoff beard was invented there, and ironically, like Lou Lamoriello is the head guy there, and he does not allow facial hair or hair like longer than your ears. So I find that funny.
These guys are bleeding. Their faces are bleeding. They have to shave between periods. Yeah.
Kev, can you
He
just
really stuck by that one, huh?
can you run it back on your Islanders like fandom? What when, how, what, who?
No, listen, I grew up and you know, that's the only thing that's actually on Long Island, right? Is the hockey team. So you were close to that. It's like the one thing that, you know, Long Island had. So yeah, I've always been a hockey fan. And then listen, you know, it was great to be here. I'm just a hockey fan. So for me, it was great to be here when the Kings, you know, went on that run. So the Islanders are my team, but ultimately I love hockey. I went to a game. I went to did I tell you this, guy? I went to a Leafs Devils game in Toronto. I had never been to a game there. It was
Wait,
pretty
how
wild.
recently?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we're up there. We're shooting a movie in Hamilton. Do you guys know where that is?
Yeah, it's not far from me.
Yeah, we're shooting in Hamilton. We'll be there in a couple weeks. So we were out there doing a location scout, and I went to a game. Man, that was fun. They really got it dialed in over there.
So what's the difference in going to a Toronto game versus an Islanders game?
Oh, God, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. It felt kind of like a Yankee vibe.
Yeah, that's how Montreal feels too.
Right? Kind of buttoned up and sort of
It's a good
corporate,
way to put it.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
is that fair?
I get it.
After the first period, the whole 2 rows in front of us never came back. I actually like to watch the game. It was great games. Austin Matthews, Jack Hughes zipping around out there. It was a great game. I like to watch the game. The whole
Damn, too bad
glass
Ty
seats by the end.
wasn't on Jersey still. That would have been fun.
I saw a couple of those guys in the hotel, but you know, these guys are all so young. You know, like
They're
you see them on
babies.
TV with their helmets on, and then looking at these kids in the lobby. I'm like, this guy looks like he's 15. These guys, they're so young, you know?
You know that Jeff and Ty are considered prehistoric, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jeff is like ancient. All the young kids in the league are now closer to my children's age than they are my husband's age, if that tells you anything.
I know, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to come up to San Jose to come to a game because you'll see Macklin and Will just like 18 and 19 years old, like killing it.
Always wanted to go to the Shark Tank. Isn't that, apparently it gets pretty rowdy there, right, Kat?
It does. It's fun. You would really enjoy it. And as I learned today, it's a very, very short flight. So come on up.
How long is the flight? Where do you go?
It's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And the airport is like
No
right
time to
here.
watch a 30 for 30. That's for sure.
I tried to get it on on the flight. But
Oh,
yeah.
did you really?
Yeah.
turn this thing on. It is
Kat,
so
you
good.
really should do a little research.
I was doing it, but I obviously Ty was filling me in because he's watched it and he's actually was funny. He's actually upstairs sleeping. Go figure. But he fell asleep to it. So like he
Right. Riveting.
Not in a bad
He
way.
fell asleep.
So Kat mentioned she just thinks like athlete when she thinks of you. So ultimate sports fan. Let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Like, who are you rooting for last night? And who is
Are we allowed
your
to talk about gambling here? Can I
team?
talk about what bets, what teams I bet? Can I talk about bets, right?
Yeah,
We
you can
can
talk about whatever. Yeah.
Of
anything.
course. It's legal. No,
Yeah.
I'm a Dolphins fan, which is weird. Right.
I was going to ask you how
Yeah.
that started because you and I have
don't
never
know.
talked
It's-
about that.
It's just.
Sorry.
It's not a great. It's not even worth the. It's not even a great story too. Which is to say, I don't really know exactly, but I don't
Well-
switch teams generally.
Like the only thing I know about the Dolphins is Dan Marino from
stink.
Ace Ventura.
Right.
Like that's it.
Well, he's one of the. He may be one of the best ever, but that's another story. So I'm a
We've-
Dolphins fan. So for me, I usually have a. I don't know. There was no horse in the race for me, so I was. I would jumped on the Saquon Barkley bandwagon.
Oh, let's talk
Yeah.
about that guy for
Yeah.
a second. He is
Unbelievable.
remarkable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somebody pulled up the clip
He
of
did it.
him hopping over somebody backwards
Yeah.
during the season.
Totally.
And then I just listened to a podcast about how he broke his ankle or something during the season, and he came back so quickly because he laid on this light therapy bed for like 3 hours every day. And now I'm convinced my husband needs to get it so he can heal quicker. He's currently on the IR. So I'm
so
like,
he's. But there's some kind of a light therapy bed. that-
yes. So it's like a
what is
red
it?
light therapy bed that. Should we plug it so maybe they'll send us one? I don't
Maybe
know.
we should
Like
try to get a free
Lightstem,
one. Send one
hello.
into the office.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you lay, and it's. Anyways, you gotta. I'll send.
I
you
mean,
the
I have
link.
one for my face.
Yeah, so the whole face. So they have like face ones that they sell to all the estheticians
Totally.
that are
Right. I have
doing
one
it.
of
But
those.
then these beds are like it makes all your mitochondria. Whatever. I could nerd out on all this. I won't. I won't talk about it here. It's for another podcast. But he laid on this bed for like 3
But
hours every day.
sorry, like, yeah, we don't. But what does he? What does it do? It like.
It fast tracks your healing, like because it
Okay.
says it like fires up the mitochondria in your cells and then
Okay.
regenerates everything faster. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, he did that, and now I'm fascinated with this guy's wellness routine, and
Right.
that's it.
I mean, you have to imagine that technology's come somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when is it just going to be? I don't know. It's crazy. But do you guys know what a Waymo is? Do you guys
No.
know
Yeah,
Waymos?
of course. They're all over here in
What is
Silicon
it?
Valley.
Okay, so Waymo is like an Uber with no driver.
It's terrifying.
Oh heck no! I will never be caught dead in one of those.
Yes,
Well-
you will, because it's awesome.
No.
You know what's funny, Kev? In living in Silicon Valley and seeing those everywhere in
Oh,
San
that's
Francisco.
they're everywhere, right?
Everywhere. But the cyber trucks, this is something even weirder that Ty and I
A
have
lot
been
of
seeing.
Cybertrucks.
Yeah, the cyber trucks, literally, we see people commuting here from like Palo Alto to San Jose, like sleeping at the wheel. Like we've seen.
That's crazy.
You guys, I
Yeah,
cannot get
Ty-
on board with that. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I have a Tesla and it does the self-driving thing. You just have to be responsible. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but like, no,
Yes.
you can't sleep.
No, I know. We see it.
Can't
We
sleep.
see it all the time. And Ty and I are like,
That would be
okay.
crazy. To do.
I know it's really scary.
Can you imagine?
Um,
But it would work. You
yeah,
just
no,
put
I
your
know.
hands on the wheel and go to sleep.
Yeah,
And it'll
it's,
take you into your garage. It's great.
yeah, it's very
But the
weird.
Waymo, there's no driver.
No, but yeah, it's weird.
So is
They're-
a Waymo a Tesla with no driver or just a
It's
car
a
with
Jaguar.
a Jaguar?
Is
Made
it a
by
Jaguar? Oh.
Yeah.
Jaguar.
And they
Remember
have
those
these things
Like
on
commercials?
the top.
your kids will probably never drive.
Oh gosh, what life skills do I need to teach them then? Like,
How to, prompts.
Julie's old school. Her kids will drive.
yeah, they will drive. They will
No.
run a tractor.
No, they're not. It's going to be all automatic cars. Watch.
That's great.
Okay, I want to talk
Sports,
about
but
the
back to
producer
sports.
and you. Let's talk about the Super Bowl ads. Kat and I were kind of debriefing on them. They just don't hit like they used to. Like, what's going on in the ad world and production world? Like, the only one I remember from last night was the Hellman's mayonnaise one with Meg Ryan and the new It girl.
Yeah.
Kat,
I mean-
you'd have to look her up.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. I like the Doritos one, the UFO one. That was great. I thought that was funny. And I think the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donut thing has really grown on me.
The
First, I was
Dunkin'.
like, but now I love it. I thought it was.
Have you
absolutely
been in a Super
hilarious.
Bowl ad, Kev?
I have.
Ooh.
I have.
Which one?
This is going back to probably 85.
85.
Wow.
84, 85.
Were you
And
a child?
it was a Lay's potato chips commercial. And the family comes running out of the tunnel onto the field for the Super Bowl. But it was like, even then, it was like 500,000 for 30 seconds or something. Crazy.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
read last night it was like 8.5 million for 30 seconds.
Right. That the equivalent in 84, $500,000 in 84 was a massive spot.
Right.
I think that the field is there's so many people chasing the same moment at the Super Bowl that it's easy to get buried there. And I think a lot of companies are probably figuring out, because it's a lot of money, right?
Different
Yeah.
ways.
You could do a bunch of different things and try to stand out. So I think it's probably tough to compete on that day anyway.
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, so Kev, speaking of Super Bowl, speaking of everything, you obviously have gotten a lot of access to sporting events and just things that you've gotten to do. I mean, you and I met when you threw out the first pitch at the Dodgers.
Right.
Can you name
That
some
was
just
fun.
That was fun.
Remember I wouldn't wear the Dodgers jersey?
No. Okay. So yeah, Kev came to throw out a first pitch. You guys were promoting Entourage the movie, I believe.
Yeah.
And Kev, it was Dodgers versus Yankees. So
But it was a 4-person first pitch,
yeah.
Oh,
right? Well, it's
Yeah.
distracting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
well, in compare, like everybody's going to compare.
I think
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everybody throwing at the same time. I don't know. I felt a little distracted.
Oh, it's all happening lined up.
We're lined up.
Yeah, it was
Pat,
all four
did
guys.
you orchestrate that?
I
Well,
did,
they
but
had to.
that's
We were going to do separate first pitch. I mean, it had to be that way.
yeah, it was funny. But Kev, a little funny story about Kev is he wouldn't put on the Dodgers jersey for me, so
Oh, because are we?
because he's a
Yankee
loyal
fan.
sports
I'm
fan.
a Yankee fan. But by the way,
Yankees.
listen, yeah, I went to the Yankees-Dodger game, man. That was something. I was
Yeah,
there for
I
the
mean-
Ice Cube.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
the Ice Cube.
I'm not gonna lie. I knew you were a Yankee fan, and I knew that like you want to talk to Don Mattingly and like that. You wouldn't want to like put on a
Yeah.
Dodger jersey. So I knew that.
No. By the way, they're ruthless over there. I had we were there for a Mets game, and my nephew's a Mets fan, and they wouldn't give him the ball because he had a Mets jersey on. By the way, it was a
Well-
blowout of a game too. It was like 14-1.
If Kat was there, he would have gotten a ball.
I know
was,
that's true.
I was trying to
actually.
get her name tag. Like, all right, I'm gonna have a word. Hi,
You were
Stacey.
texting
You know
me.
what, Stacy? I guess I'll talk to you after I get off the phone with Kat. We'll see what she has to say about this.
Okay, so that obviously the first pitch was cool, but what about any hockey memories? Like you were on the glass, right, when the Kings won?
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too about a hockey fan or any sport, right? That you are a fan of the team. How often are you in the building? By the way, first of all, your team never wins, right? When you're in the actual building for it, it's special. So for me, and I had season tickets randomly. Got season tickets for the Kings that first year. Remember, they were the 8 seed. So that was an unexpected run.
I love a good underdog story.
Yeah. Well, those ticket prices sure went through the roof. No, but it was one of the great. Like it was a great run. Like I always say, I think that like with my own eyes, that was Jonathan Quick was the best performance that I've ever seen in person. If that makes any sense.
I would agree. Did you party with
That
the
was
cup?
awesome. I don't really like to actually part. I'm not superstitious, but like I don't know. There's something weird about it. I think. To like
Because
to a
you think you're
point,
going to
like,
win it one day?
No,
Are you a-
not
are you a
that.
hockey
but like
player?
almost. No, but like you don't necessarily have the right to be doing that necessarily. Slightly disrespectful too. I would never be disrespectful. I would never like hold it up or do anything stupid. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels weird. It did. It came to goal, right? Kat, you remember that?
Yeah.
We used to have this sports bar, and the cup was in town, and I was they've been the NHL has been great to me, and I'm not just saying that because of
Well, what
where we
about
are, but they
No, my
brought the cup.
my girlfriend Angela Price, she was on the show a couple episodes ago. I was chatting with her this morning, and she said she's seen you at a bunch of the All-Star games, and she's just like, he's awesome. He's around the sport all the time, so it seems like a natural. You're like part of the NHL, like you really are a fan, and you're like an ambassador to the game, right? Like
So Joffrey Lupul, who old buddy of mine, I had he was hurt for like what felt like a really long time. And you would see him, and he guy honestly could barely stand up. Like he had his elbow on the desk. That's how banged up his back was. And I remember thinking like, this guy's just not going to play. I thought and I was like, yeah, man, I said something like that over the course of, hey, when All-Star game, I'll be there. Well, he makes the All-Star team, and it's in Ottawa. No disrespect to Ottawa, but Man, I had not been there before. Holy
That's
mackerel.
true.
It is cold at the end of January in
Let me
Ottawa.
tell you something. It was cold.
Yeah.
It was
I've
cold.
done an outdoor game in Ottawa
Oh
at
my
that
God.
about that time, and it ain't like the
Outdoor
layers
game?
did not do anything. So I get it. But
But it was
I
great,
heard I heard the All-Star game is going to be in Long Island next year, though.
Yeah.
How like what do
Well,
we have to look
isn't
forward
that-
to there?
Well, they get that's how it goes, right? When you get a new stadium. In hockey, you get an All-Star game, and in the NFL, you get a Super Bowl, right?
Well, so
Am I
new
making that up?
stadium.
Is that a thing?
I think it's a thing.
Oh, I like that.
Can you give us your
Fair enough.
before and after thoughts of the new stadium versus the old stadium, like the difference in vibes?
Well, the biggest thing, and if you look at, like, are we calling it?
Arena.
Crypto.com. Crypto, like talk about crypto. You know, when that first was built, there was nothing around there. You know, and now it's so much is built up around it. That's just what they have to do. I mean, the arena is beautiful, state of the art, all that. You gotta get some bars, restaurants. I mean, obviously, I'm not telling them anything they don't know. I'm sure that's all underway, but that's really what it's missing. So maybe the All-Star game, that's something to shoot for. But you know, I guess it's because of that. It's so weird. I saw on Twitter the last time that the All-Star game was at the Coliseum was like 1983 or something. First and only time. And I watched a little bit of the game, and it was like 2-2 or something going into the third period. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not that way anymore. Right? And I'm not to say that anybody should go out there trying to hurt themselves. I'm just saying, like, in this game, looked like they were playing a little bit, as opposed to, I don't know. I'd like
Right.
to see all the All-Star games compete a little.
Well, and now it's like restructured, right? Like there's like an incentive to the players and the teams, right? And they like get $1 million or something. So it's a little bit more like enticing, right? And
Right.
they break it up into 3-on-3 something. I don't know. I need to follow closely. Sorry.
No, I mean, listen, I think that, Four Nations. Are you guys excited or you don't care?
Yeah, I mean, we are. We're.
Yeah, you're
I was going to say our
you're, like,
husbands aren't in
excited
it,
is a
sadly.
loose- yeah, I'm excited. Right.
I'm excited. I don't know who I don't know if I'm rooting for Canada or America because of Ty. So I never,
Yeah, you never know who to go for. That's
Right.
true.
But
Yeah.
are you guys going to cover that? No.
I think we'll talk about it afterwards. I think we're going to have somebody on after that, has a front view seat this whole week to it. So that'll be good to get kind of the inside. A girlfriend of mine was over watching Super Bowl last night whose husband's playing for Team USA. And she was just explaining, like, I didn't know everything is in Montreal. Like, all the teams are there. And then everybody goes to Boston after that. So I don't know. I really need to just get more information on it. And then
yeah, we're curious the setup. So yeah, afterwards
Yeah.
we're going to talk to some of the girls that were there and just explain it because we don't even know what to expect.
Right, you guys
to watch.
get a whole different side of it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like right now, if you're not playing for Four Nations, you're on a vacation on the beach somewhere. And that's where everybody else's mindsets are that aren't playing in it because it's the one break of the season that everybody gets. So,
I was
It's
gonna say
kind of a
we're-
crazy break, though, no?
yeah, it's wild. It's like
it's
Olympic
long.
break. Like,
Yeah.
you had Olympics to look forward to every, 4 years?
Right.
And now it's this break, and Olympics will be next year. So, those 2 very long breaks. And
It's a
Cats-
weird part of the season, too. Listen, I love it. I'm all about the Nations tournament. But it's kind of a interesting time, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm saying that because the Islanders had a little momentum, but
Well, right.
Well,
it breaks
yeah.
momentum. It breaks like swings,
but
and
also
for other
guys
teams,
can get healthy, right?
Yeah.
Guys can get healthy.
For
Who
yeah,
knows?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like for
I'm
me,
actually-
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm actually wondering because I'm packing up after this to go to Maui tomorrow with the entire Sharks team. So I just feel like they're probably going to be on their phones watching it the entire time or just asking to put it
It'll
on.
be on the TV in the bar.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it's so funny because we're going on a vacation away from hockey, but you know that they're all going to be like dialed and watching and
Are you-
discussing.
Yeah, whatever. I'll ask him. Like, are they golfing? Is he bringing his
Yeah,
clubs?
they're actually gonna golf. You and Ty can nerd out over this at like a really cool golf course on Wednesday. So
Which course? All right, forget it. We'll talk about that.
yeah, we'll talk about it later. So yeah, everything with hockey and all your access and all that stuff. How did you bring that to Entourage? We've never talked about this.
Well, no, I mean the guys were from on the show, the guys are from Queens, right? So kind of made sense. And the first time it was just sort of there. Yeah. And then, but it was strange because, I've been going to the games for so long, but, I started to get like weird calls from like, my childhood idols, where like I got Mike Bossy called me. He's like, hey, and I would do charity stuff for him. And for me, of course, you're doing the charity, but, Christmas morning at Modell's handing out toys with Bossy. It was fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they've been very, very. Listen, even when I was in Toronto, I said, hey, if there's any way, and they were all over it. They got me 2 tickets, so they take good care of me.
So it was funny. Obviously, we're very close with Emily Evans, Jake Evans' wife, and it was so funny. Kev, I told him, Emily's dad is like
her dad played for the Islanders. Oh, that. And I was like, well, ask what's her dad's name. Patrick Flatley. I'm like, yeah. I mean, he's like in their Hall of Fame, and he's like one of the. I'm like, Kat, her dad was no pushover. That's
he's just casually the captain of your favorite team.
Totally. And he was really good, man. Really good.
I love
That's
it.
so
So
we're gonna play golf.
Yeah, you guys would actually be really good friends because he is just fun and
Sounds like a fun round.
Fun round. You, Pat Flatley, and Tyler and Jake on a golf course together.
Oh gosh, just have the cameras going,
Right?
Because that's a mess.
That would be a show.
Do you guys let them play golf, or do you give them a hard time about it?
I let Ty play golf. I get out of the house.
What's that look?
Jeff
What's that
does
like,
not
Julie?
play golf right now until our kids are capable of taking care of themselves. But once Jeff retires, I think he's going to become a
Hold
full-time
on a
golfer.
second. Hold on a second. So you just keep no rounds.
Just like if he's invited to a nice round, sure, go. But the whole like standing tee time 3 times a week, no.
How about one time a week?
Maybe once if I get like
Wow.
a tennis tournament, whatever we got.
Right.
I
It's not
need
just going to be you sitting there. It's got to get spread out. By the way, listen, that's the world I live in too.
Yeah, we'll see. As our kids become more self-sufficient and they can go play with him, then by all means, you guys, I got 4 boys, take them all. So it'll be good.
Well, yesterday, it's funny because, you're talking about the game. My daughter, she's 3.5. She comes ripping out of her bedroom with her Islander T-shirt on and thinking that the Islanders are in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
I love Kennedy's wardrobe of Islanders.
I'm like, no, listen, we're going to keep the shirt on because we're going to Benihana. So we went to Benihana, which is always
That's the ultimate move. Early Benihana dinner, Super Bowl. Like, I think that'll be the play for us next year.
Benihana. We literally pulled in and got back to the house when the game was starting.
It's perfect.
I mean, it was perfect. Yeah. So maybe that'll be our new thing as well. What are we doing for the Super Bowl? It's like,
Was
not going to the Super Bowl. Did you have fun, Kat?
Okay, wait. I connected all the dots because Kat has included me for the 3rd year in her fantasy football league, and I just learned who our
hey,
last place player was
What's
today.
your street handle? What's your street handle on that league? What is it?
What?
What's your name, Julia? Are you in the league?
Just very basic. I think I'm Julie Petrie team. I don't have any sort of creativity when it comes to that. I will get better in my 4th year if I'm invited back. I'm like the new girl.
Who won the league, Kat?
Who won?
I've been
this year?
accused of being involved, and it's kind of offensive.
So that was
our
question.
thing. So our question was, did you help her at all with her team? Because she started off so strong.
So strong. Like, new girl came in, guns blazing. Like, who is this?
Rolled out 5 quick wins to start the season.
It was her and I, neck and neck. We were we were both 5-0. And then I think we went neck and neck and she beat me. And I was like, I'm done paying attention. Gave the phone to my 9-year-old.
She stopped setting her lineup.
The only thing I did was
Kevin stopped setting her lineup.
No. I literally told her how the game is played, and that the projections. She's very smart, but the projections are not. They're just projections. Blah blah blah. Matchups. This is what you need. I taught her the game, and then she
took it and ran with it. Well, she killed it.
No, by the way, we had Tyreek. He went down. No, she had Derrick Henry. It was a bunch of people, but the truth of the matter is, even if you give me that lineup, I win the league.
Yeah.
Some of her draft picks though were very strategic.
Of course. I told her if that person's available, get them.
Hey, I think that's allowed. I think it's allowed.
Allowed.
Remember?
Everybody does it. And
Yeah,
so did
I'm
you,
hollering
Julie, and so
to
did you,
the-
Kat. Kat, you totally did that. What do you mean? You didn't
What?
consult with anybody about the draft?
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I'm the commish, so I have to go by my own rules.
Our commish weirdly always makes it into the top 3 every year. We're starting to think something's going on.
Because
Yeah.
I'm
You
a
pay
sports
attention.
girly. I'm
She doesn't alert us to set our lineups anymore, so she just sets hers. And
Does she
then-
put the kibosh on trades?
No, we're just
No.
like, yeah, we just, the trades isn't a big thing in our league, I guess, but
Listen,
But-
this is the second time that I've been accused of mishandling an
I
account.
think you get. I
in
think.
fantasy
I
football.
think it's allowed. I think all the hand holding is allowed, and you know what? We're doing
I'm
our
sure
best.
I'm sure Jackie was just doing all the research in the world. I mean, come on.
Jackie Quick knows what she's talking about when it
And
comes
she
to football.
still
I'm sure-
got second
I'm
to
sure
last
Johnny
place.
Quick. I'm sure Johnny gave her a tidbit or
Oh.
two. There's no way.
Speaking of Jackie, Kev knows Jackie Quick as well. They're both fiery New Yorkers.
She punched
would
me
like-
in the face in Vegas.
Joking.
So
she
what
did
would
joke
your
about it.
what would be your best? This is what we always fight over in our group chat is what is the ultimate fantasy football like loser punishment? Like we go back and forth. Like you got to go to Vanderpumps and do the shot thing in Vegas.
Look, I get that that's part of it. That would just never happen. I'm like,
It's just
I,
done.
like I lost. What do you mean? Well, you want to punish me more? I lost.
Well, I always want to do something with whatever team mascot we're a part of. Like you gotta like be a
What
mascot.
do you got to do?
Like you gotta go like be mascot for the day.
They're
Like
not just gonna give you that costume.
Ooh,
you know
I
what?
like that.
I actually think that our teams, like if we ask nicely,
Sharky would give it
They're
up.
not gonna give it to you, Kat. They're gonna have maybe he gets involved and contributes, but they're not gonna say, "Here's the costume."
I think Sharky would let it happen. Honestly, Sharky's fun, so I feel like
He
I feel
probably
like-
can't do it.
He
All right,
probably
well,
has
I'm-
like signed an oath that he would never allow a regular to.
You don't see Spider-Man giving up the Spider-Man suit, right? You
This
just
is
don't.
true.
That's not how it
Well,
goes. Who is
Mark
Okay.
it?
my words.
Kat, who is it? It's the shark. What's his name?
San Jose Sharky.
Sharky.
He's really cute, but I honestly feel like if we asked nicely, he would let us at least for like a
Do you think-
period.
Do you
No, I
think
don't.
Yuppie would let us? I
I
think
would-
Yuppie's
think he'd
locked
be
up. The
allowed.
Habs.
God. He's
Okay,
not allowed
this
to
is
touch
for
him.
this is for another topic.
Well,
Okay,
guess
before,
what? Shout
before
out
we
at
leave-
Sharky.
Yeah. Before we leave, we were wanting to know a little bit though about your new series coming out. You're now on the producer side of things, but acting in this one as well. Ramble on.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So it's a TV show that we did independently.
Okay.
Which is tricky
Yeah.
because now you have to go sell it. So I'm not the salesman type, but they're out trying to get it going. We'll see what happens. It was
Okay.
fun though.
Cool.
Well, it's funny because when we were approached about this podcast, you were the first person that I called for advice.
Right. How's it been? Do you guys like it?
It's really fun. I mean, we have a good time. I feel like it's a fun mix of guests like you and wives and stories and just we're
I
having
think
a
we're
good time.
starting to get the hang of it. I mean, I could talk to a wall, but Kat's more of like the technical, like analyst, and I'm more of the color, and just throw in what I think needs to be thrown in. So
Are
we're
you getting
learning
guest anxiety yet, Julie? Do you guys feel like, oh, I gotta call this?
a little bit, like we were saying, but
course.
while you were getting the sound worked out, we're like, oh, we kind of get the little pregame jitters here. And
Right.
I mean, you're one of Kat's good friends. I'm sitting here like I'm podcasting with Kevin Connolly on a Monday night. What the? Like, I have no business talking to you, but here I am. So
Yeah, well, listen,
Anyway,
it's go ahead,
we're
what were
having
you saying?
fun. And
Yeah.
any advice you have for us, we
Well,
will
that's what I'm
gladly
saying.
take it.
Just have fun, you know. And it's like, listen, the guest thing, it's always going to be the elephant in the room, but eventually you're going to run out of friends.
Yeah.
How many people do you really know, right?
Well,
We're almost through our Rolodex.
That's
That's
a
what I'm
loaded
saying.
loaded question, Kev, because Ty's been on, as you know, so
I know,
many
but I'm
teams.
just saying it comes quick. So look for also content that you can do without people.
Do you have
The show goes on with just
The
you two.
show goes
You don't
on.
always
If-
need.
If
How long
Bob
are the
and Matt
episodes?
let us.
How long are the episodes?
really depends.
This one might be our longest one yet.
1 out of 5.
We're like 35 to an hour. That's
You guys are
our.
gonna be like Rogan, conspiracy podcast, 3 hours long. Never offside. Offsides? Offside?
Offside.
Oh, what do
Okay.
you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
True,
Offside.
honest
Not-
opinion.
It's just not what I think. It's just it's a singular word, right? Or am I wrong?
It is, but it just sounds so much better to say offsides.
But
Right?
it's not.
It's not, but
it's a made up word, right?
no, I know. And Julie and I actually learned that all of our Canadian friends like thought we were crazy for even thinking there was an S on it.
Because we think that in football they say it offsides. We think that's how they announce it. They call it. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're making
You might
it up.
be right. You might be right about that.
But
Yeah.
even my husband, an American hockey player, thought it was offsides. So it's very split, like American Canadian sort of thing. But we're
Ooh,
learning.
Well,
and
that's what
it's-
it is. See,
Yeah.
in Canada, you can say offsides, but in the old school hockey world, it's offside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are old school. You
Well-
guys are old school.
The one night in New York that we had a bottle of wine together, we put it together how it does make sense that it's offside because it's one side. You're either on this side or the other. Anyways.
Right. So it's got a double meaning. I like it. I like it. No, listen, you guys should have fun and then, and what are you doing? One a week?
Yeah, every Monday, so it comes out every Tuesday.
Every
Wow, you
Monday,
guys go,
usually
right.
earlier in the day. But next week we are taking a break because Kat is going to go enjoy vacation. I am going to nurse an injured husband body to health so he can get back on the ice. And
You
you're
got to
gonna-
bank episodes. You got to
Yeah,
bank
see?
a couple. You'll learn that. That's coming down the pipe for you guys.
You got to come on when Ty comes on because
By the way, anytime you guys want me to come on, I'll come on.
well, we
Well,
appreciate
within
you.
reason, right? Let's not get no kidding.
I'm
But,
like, oh,
you know,
great.
Kat, call me on
We
for
can
a
do
conspiracy
on-site
check.
locations. We can go to you next time. Just
I mean, if you're here, you could record here anytime.
That would be fun. Well, we appreciate you very much. We won't take up any more of your time. 'Cause
Let's make it at 9:30 p.m. next time. Let's do 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's
we
in the
we
morning.
could do a happy hour.
See, that would be fun. Kev is my wine bestie.
Are you allowed to do that? Probably not, right?
Yeah. I feel like
All right, we'll talk
Kev
about
and I like a good glass of rosé or red wine together and Zulai and Ty. So, all right. Well, thank you, Kev. We really appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you hopefully again soon.
Anytime.
yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you. All right. Welcome back. Julie, what did you think of Kevin?
He's just the best. Like, I don't know why I was a little jittery before. Like, I mean, I know why. I'm talking to the star of Entourage, a little star in The Notebook, if anybody remembers. But he's just so awesome. And it was so fun to debrief the 30 for 30. Like, I'm telling you, Kat, go to bed watching this because it riled me up if you couldn't tell.
I know you guys. You said you could have had an entire podcast just talking about that. So I was wondering if you were going to keep going. And
I have a newfound appreciation for the Islanders and their history and everything around them now because
yeah,
I know so much from his little thing.
I know. And doesn't he just remind you just of like he's just one of the bros. He's like just
He is one of the guys, and he just feels like part of the crew. And like when you're saying, "Oh, you guys should go golf," and I'm like, "Yeah, he seems like that guy. That perfect fits in, just totally cool." And he's a true fan of the sport, which is so cool. Like going to the game, going to the Leafs Devils game, like just casual. He's like, I'm a fan of the game. I love it. I love to
he's
see
the
it.
best. He's the best. Yeah, crazy. I feel like now I've got to start packing for tomorrow.
Yeah,
So-
you are just one thing to the next, packing to go to Maui tomorrow for the Four Nations break. I'm
Yeah.
a little jealous, I must say. I'm not going anywhere. We had to forgo some plans due to unforeseen circumstances. Jeff is getting healthy. So I'm in currently pouting mode of watching all of my friends at sunny vacations while I am
tropical location and everywhere pretty much.
Yeah, and it is like 20 degrees, and I know we're gonna have a snow day this week, so my kids will be right here with me. So I'll get over it. I have enough to keep me busy, but it is that one like block of the year that you look forward to. We can reconnect, we can just let loose, we can have nice dinners, have nice drinks. Everything is so programmed throughout the year that it's like this is the one time to really just like be. And
Yep.
I'm going to live it through you. And you are the cruise director for the San Jose Sharks team trip, it sounds like, to Maui.
That is my MO. Every year, depending on what team we're on, I'm always the planner of the vacations. This year, actually, it's funny. I actually thought that we were gonna be the only ones on the side of the island we're going to, but it turned into pretty much the entire Sharks team coming. But then also, interestingly enough, there's all these trades that have been happening. So it's like some people that just got traded away are going to be there. So it's kind of cool that we can all,
Yeah, one last
debrief.
hurrah together. But also there will be other West Coaster team NHLers there that you'll see, and it'll just be like one big NHL party. Like that's how it was like for East Coast in the Bahamas. It's like we actually like were with all the Islanders last year in the Bahamas, or 2 years ago, whatever year that was. Can't keep them straight.
This is going to be a lot of the West Coast teams, but then on our specific group going, that's the Cunnins, the CCs, the Blackwoods. There's a bunch of us going. So
honestly, it's going to be so fun. I feel like those trips too, when a lot of your team goes, it's like a bonding trip. Like it's a weird, I don't know, you just get like a better connection to people because it's, again, so programmed during the season. Everybody's pretty regimented, and it's just everybody's there, lets loose, and it's just so fun. I'm so jealous.
It's when it's pretty much, especially being on a new team, it's where you really get to know each other, right? So like I know all these people quite well, but I'm excited to see the vacay versions of them,
Oh, the vacay versions are the best, and that's what I think makes it so special. I'm like so when we were in Pittsburgh 2 years ago, this is the Bahamas trip I was talking about. We were new to that team. So, getting integrated in a new team it's hard. But like as an older player, it's pretty like you're quicker to do it because you know how much time you don't have to take your time to get to know people. But vacation speeds it up together, and you just you get to know people on another level way quicker, go on a boat together, and it's just, you're bonded forever. It's so fun.
You also learn what guys can handle a boat or not. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Some big old rough and tough, hockey player is puking over the side because he needs Dramamine, wrist patches.
Or deathly scared of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's those types of funny things that you learn about each other on these vacations. But I'm
going to go out on a limb and that everybody wants to vacay with you and Tyler. Like y'all are the vacay people. It is like Tyler gets to turn it on. Like y'all are the people I want to vacay with.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll give myself a little pat because I think Tyler's maybe the most fun human on vacation ever.
He's the most fun not on vacation. So let's give Tyler credit where credit's due. I mean, that guy is always ready for the best time, a smile on his face.
It's like giggly laugh, like on vacation, is like amplified. That high pitched laugh that
His energy is magnetic, and he just is down for anything and everything. And that's what you want on vacation. You just want people to let loose and have fun, and the Toffoli's carry that well. So I'm going on vacation with y'all next time if it's in the cards.
I know. Well, at least we have some plans this summer all together. So that's,
Well, and we're going to manifest that San Francisco Super Bowl with the Lions in it next year. So then I get the invite there, and that just kicks off the trip. And then we'll send you off to the Olympics for Tyler playing
Okay, this is a big thing, and I am going to petition this until it happens. But Tyler, his name being floated around to be on Team Italy for the Olympics next year.
Let's make it happen, baby.
Manifest, because that is the coolest thing I've seen. I mean, Ty's obviously like loves playing for Team Canada, but like when I saw, oh my God,
Tyler will be at Olympic training camp in Italy for Team Italy. We will go to the Super Bowl, and then I will send you on a plane over to be a Team Italy cheerleader. How about that?
Oh my God, that is manifest. I would just die. I would die. So let's make that happen. Whoever's listening that has anything to do with that, please.
Yeah, would that be like the passport offices and the NHL, please and thank you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's even just like the country of Italy. Like, I'm not sure, but I just,
we'll call the embassy. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what they say.
Tyler Toffoli, please, Team Italy.
I love it. Well, I loved getting to talk to Kevin, and I think it was such a fun insight into the Islanders world and the All-Star break being there next year in Long Island. I think that is just something that is to look forward to as well. So
it's very cool. And it was very nice of him to come on late. And it was very nice of you to stay up late.
Yeah.
Four boys in all. So I really appreciate you.
Anything for you. All right, so do what we ask you to do every time. Rate, review, wherever you listen to these podcasts, and follow our Instagram at NeverOffsidePod, where we'll be reposting all the clips. And yeah, just share, and hope you like it.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time on Never Offside with Julie and Kat.